Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and quickly, as thorough as we can, compare both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S and see how these two consoles hold up in 2023. Now, I will tell you, as of this point, we're about 3 to 4 years into the life cycle of both these consoles, and I will probably tell you that, for the most part, these consoles are more similar than not. Of course, there's differences, and clearly the Xbox Series X, if you have all the money in the world, definitely go for that console. That is going to be the better console in almost every single area. But I think the Xbox Series S is definitely the better deal. And if you're looking at it in terms of like which one you want to, save the most money on or the best value per dollar, the Series S is clearly the better option here. But I think the Series X, there's no competition. Of course, that one's going to be the better one. It's the more expensive one. You're spending more money on it. But I think the Series S is probably the best one for you. But let's go and see how these two compare. Now, pricing wise, the Xbox Series S is definitely going to, be a cheaper console overall than the Xbox Series X. Of course, if you buy them brand new, they'll be the prices that you're kind of used to. They have been available in the used market a little bit more though, which is very interesting. The Series S is hundreds of dollars cheaper than the Series X in the brand new market, but even in the used market, these consoles have been going down in price tag quite a bit because they are more widely available. I still think if you try to walk into a Best Buy and buy them, they may not be available there, but most probably if you buy them online, they are probably going to be available all over the place. So that is a very nice thing that's kind of happened. It was a very rocky start probably for the first 2 years, but now I think it's kind of leveled out. So it's no longer a question of whichever one's available. You can probably buy both these things all over the place. And if you can't buy them in the brand new market, you can probably buy them in the used market somewhere, and it's probably not going to be that much more expensive. In fact, it's probably going to be cheaper now. But if you're going from Microsoft's own rental lease program, their Xbox, whatever rental thing that they have, the Series S is $24.99 a month. The Series X is $34.99 a month. So you are saving a little bit of money if you are going for the Series S, even if you're going for that rental program thing, where they also give you Xbox Game Pass as well. Now, on the outside, there are clearly some differences. So the Xbox Series S is a much smaller console. It is not as powerful as the Series X either, but it definitely looks very nice. I think I like the design of the Series S more than I like the design of the Series X. At the very top, you have that circular, iconic Series S logo, which is very funny. You have, the standard USB port on the front. You have the USB port, HDMI port, AC adapter stuff on the back. So it is a nice thing that they ended up doing for the Series S. You still have, this, I would say almost the same port selection as an Xbox One S, but you are missing the dual HDMI ports. So keep that in mind. With the Series X, it is a much bigger, beefier console. It looks almost like a gaming PC, which is kind of funny because, Microsoft makes the software for a lot of those gaming PCs out there unless you're using Linux. But with the Series X, the biggest thing I would probably think about, probably even more than the power, which is kind of surprising, is with the disc tray. With the Xbox Series X, you are getting the disc tray. The Series S does not have that type of capability. And this is not the problem, but this is the thing that really sways me away. If you're not even interested in, disc games or physical games at all, the Series S is going to be fine. But for those of you who do care about those types of things, or if you already have a console that has a disc tray in it, and you already have a pre-existing library of physical games, and if they are compatible for the Series X, you're not going to be able to play them on the Series S. So yeah, you might be saving a couple $100s with the Series S right now, but you are going to be basically, not being able to play your physical games at all that you had. You have to, if you hopefully have them in digital copy, you will have to make sure you have the digital games of those, and then you can play them on the Series S if they're even compatible. Now, if you're coming from a PlayStation or something or a Nintendo Switch, then clearly those games aren't going to work. But if you're coming from an Xbox One, any of those generation games are most probably going to work on this next-gen console if you have an Xbox Series X. But they only work on both these if you have the digital component between them. So please keep that in mind. These two consoles are very similar, but they are very, very different in that way. And if you wanted to get the one I would probably recommend, it'd probably be the Series X. If you even have 5 or 6 physical Xbox One games, you'd probably just, be okay if you just bought the Series X, because you can then buy used games in the used market once those games start becoming more readily available. And then guess what? You can just go ahead and save maybe $10, $15, $20, maybe even more than that if you buy a used game rather than buying the brand new one. And after 5 or 10 games, it kind of pays off. If you already have 6 or 7 physical games, if you have 5 or 10, other used games that you buy, saving $20, $30 a piece, you've already kind of made up the difference within the first probably year of owning this console. So it may seem like a small thing, but that is honestly one of the bigger things that I've seen personally. Now, another thing between these two consoles is between the storage between them. So of course you're getting more port selection on the Xbox Series X, you're getting more power, but you can also go ahead and expand the storage between both of them. Now, internally, when they both come out of the box, you can get up to 512 gigabytes of storage on the Xbox Series S. With the Series X, it goes up to 1 terabyte. So it is about twice the amount of storage on the Xbox Series X than on the Series S. But a big thing to keep in mind is that you can expand the storage between both. So it's not really like the craziest big difference here. You can expand the storage between both of them. It's not really that big of a problem. Now, another thing is with the processor inside. Now, I would say for the average person, the numbers I'm going to say aren't really going to matter that much because they don't really matter to me, and I would consider myself probably even below the average person. But in this case, the Xbox Series S, the processor inside, has 4 teraflops of processing power. With the Xbox Series X, you have 12 teraflops of processing power. So is it, the Xbox Series X 3 times is more powerful? Maybe, maybe not. But again, it is more expensive. So you should probably expect the Series X to be way faster, be better at performance than the Series S. Are you going to see it right now? Probably not, but you'll probably end up seeing it in the next couple of years. Now, in terms of the gaming resolutions, the Xbox Series S can go ahead and output up to 1440p. The Xbox Series X can output up to 4K video, so they say true 4K. So you can, output into that resolution, which is really nice. And I think that is really cool. You can actually do video though. You can, output at 8K. So 8K HDR, which is really nice. So they both share that type of similarity between both. So there isn't really that big of a difference between those two. So keep that in mind as well. Now, like I said, when it comes down to it, and Microsoft kind of, mentions this as well, the big difference you're probably going to see here is going to be that disc tray. When you kind of, plug in both these consoles and you kind of set them aside, the UI is almost identical. The gaming library is almost identical. And I'm sure for the first year of you playing both these consoles, you're probably not going to see any difference between the performance. And you might even see a bunch of videos of people mentioning that the Series S is very similar in performance to the Series X. But I do think the biggest way you're going to see the performance kind of hold up is throughout time. If you owned a Series X day one and if you owned a Series S day one, you may have noticed that as of this point, after all the games that you played on it, after all the software updates, after all the dust that's collected in the back of these consoles, you'll probably see that the Series X is probably noticeably more faster than the Series S. And you might notice that the Series S kind of slows down a little bit and gets sluggish. And this happens not only with gaming consoles, but with any console that you'll ever own or any device. As it gets older, it just kind of gets slower. That's just kind of how it goes. So having a console that's already way more powerful to begin with can honestly lengthen the lifespan of that console, even if you buy them on the same day. I've seen the same thing with the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, with the PlayStation 4 Slim and the PlayStation 4 Pro. Although they are very different consoles, it's kind of the same concept here. The Series S is a less powerful version of a Series X, and it's getting some features stripped away. But that is to say that when, we look back, 10 years from now, or maybe even in 2030, which would be about 10 years after the initial release of these consoles, you'd probably see that the Series X did hold up better than the Series S. But with that being said, I think the Series S is going to be a very good pickup as well. If you're able to pick the Series S up for, cheaper than what it's selling for brand new, if it's readily available to where you are, I think it's a no-brainer. I think especially if you don't own a gaming console, a Series S is a very good pickup, and it would be clearly one of those consoles I would recommend people to buy. Is it perfect? Clearly not. But it is a very good console, and I think it doesn't really get too much better than that at that price tag. Now with the Series X, you are getting into a different territory. If you're able to pick up that console at 400 to 500, that's a really good deal. If you're paying more than 500 for it, I wouldn't recommend doing it unless it's a bundle or something that you're getting some games with. So, buy it in the brand new market and you should be fine. But that's kind of how both these consoles hold up, I guess, and compare in 2023. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.